We continue to honor Black history, mind, body, and soul with the story of an NFL player who stepped forward to shine a light on an issue that has really lingered in the darkness. Indianapolis Colts linebacker Darius Leonard has become the face of the team's effort to end the stigma around mental illness. Here's the story now from Fox 59 in Indy.
There's a reason they call him the Maniac. Even for an NFL player, Darius Leonard is high energy. The Indianapolis Colts linebacker is a highly paid All-Pro. His team is a contender, and he's devoted to his family. On the surface, it all seems perfect.
Everybody only see the happy part of me. Everybody only see me dancing, having a good time, enjoying my family. But people don't understand that, behind closed doors, that, things are not what people make it seem to be.
Darius Leonard has, maybe surprisingly, become the face of the Colts' Kicking the Stigma campaign, the team's effort to raise awareness about mental health. Leonard has used his own painful experience as an example of how many people suffer in silence. He came forward about his bouts of depression and anxiety after his brother was killed in a nightclub fight when they were teenagers. He sought counseling after suffering for years.
I was once that kid who didn't have anything. I was once that kid who felt like, his back was against the wall and nobody was there for him. I struggled for a long time.
The Colts asked Leonard to share his mental health journey in a series of Kicking the Stigma public service announcements aired on national TV. He admits he seems like an unlikely spokesman. Going
through all the adversity that I've been through, being the top level linebacker that I am, and people think that I'm just living on in high heaven right now, which is not true. Just going through all the depression and things that other people go through. Who's ready to shot?
Me.
Leonard is also among the most active Colts in the Indianapolis community. It gives him many opportunities to share his mental health history with fans young and old. The Colts ownership says they couldn't have found a better ambassador to spread their important message.
I think people in that role of being a role model and being, especially like a football player, you're tough and you're out on the field, and he's someone who's so too like happy-go-lucky and, goofy and such a positive light, but yet, he has these personal struggles.
The rest of the Colts have embraced the team's mission of kicking the stigma. Leonard says even some of his teammates have been surprised to hear about his struggle and his honesty about it. The Colts linebacker has reached them and countless others who otherwise would have suffered like he did.
You're not trying to reach everybody, you're just trying to reach that one person to say, okay, you're having the same problem as your role model. And if your role model can step up and say, I need help, you can do the same thing.
In Indianapolis, Bob Donaldson reporting.
Oh my gosh, what an excellent story. Honoring Black history is an hour-long special that we have been working on preparing for you. It will air Sunday, February 20th at 6 p.m. and then again Friday, February 25th at 10 a.m. We invite you to enjoy this along with the rest of your family and learn more about how we're honoring Black history here locally. Worked with Bob Donaldson for many years in Indianapolis, and he's an incredible storyteller. And I think that the gift that he brought forward in that story was showing how somebody can seem so happy and vibrant on the outside and really be struggling inside.
Well, it's the narrative that we hear way too often, and it doesn't quite sink in until people really step forward and give of themselves and speak to it, which is what was so powerful about that, I think.